This morning, we're going to be speaking about two big issues, and these are issues that you have messaged us about throughout the day yesterday. We know that today is the day that former finance minister goes before the courts in the United States, and this is something that we have been waiting for. He is going to appear before a judge via teleconferencing, by video conferencing, and so he's not going to physically go to the courts. And we promise to bring you that footage if we have access to it. We don't know if it will be public yet, but by the time the day ends, by Ghana Tonight, we will know. And so we are not going to be discussing that on the big issues this morning. We might just allow you to have a bite, so you can send your messages, if any, and our panelists will also just take a bite on that matter. But our substantive issues for discussing our morning discussion today would be on one of the recommendations by the Constitutional Review Committee, which presented its report last year to His Excellency, the President John Dramani Mahama, on the 22nd of December. One of the recommendations is about the removal of, or the direct mention of, private associations in the Constitution. Specifically, some of these associations would include the Ghana Bar Association, the GJA, among others. Now, what exactly does it mean, and how does it affect the participation of these professional private organizations and on various boards in the country? Now, we have heard a lot of commentary about this recommendation. Among the people who have spoken is the ex-president of the Ghana Bar Association, Mr. Yao Boafo, who had some very strong views to express on the matter. We'll get into it. We'll also talk about our urban transportation system. Now, since Christmas, a lot of commuters were plagued with the real struggle of getting a bus from the major cities to other major cities, to villages, towns, and so on. Some people were stranded. They had to stay at the bus stations and terminals overnight. And we thought it was a problem of the festive season because of the high numbers of travelers. But the season has ended, and a lot of commuters, road users, travelers are still complaining because of the unavailability of buses on the road. The trotros are overwhelmed. Of course, the online transport system can be very expensive for people who cannot afford it. And the question is it a good time for us to reconsider our rail system and bringing in more trains to help us alleviate the problem on our roads? This is something that we would like to look at in detail. Of course, we brought you some footage from the train plying from Afienya to Accra, from the one from Tema to Accra. Christian Yale and Joseph Armstrong Alogbe brought us some stories from there. We've seen the state of the tracks, we've seen the state of the trains, and we'd like to invite a conversation on that. So you're invited to join in the conversation with the hashtag TV3 New Day online, on X, on Facebook. We will read your messages as they come in. And if you're watching us live on Facebook, you know what to do. Just go under our live feed, and you can leave your messages there. We'll read them as we go. But for now, we're joined in studio by our resident lawyer, Mr. Austin Bracco Powers. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, Yohan.
How are fantastic. You? I'm great. It's great to have you.
I can't wait to have you join the bar.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Ghanaians are even looking forward to this moment.
Is that so?
It will be a thrilling moment.
I see. Well, that will be fantastic. And it's great to have you in studio.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining us always. And we are also going to be joined by our other resident lawyer, who is very often present on Ghana Tonight via Zoom. We're going to be joined, but actually joined now by lawyer Martin Pebu. Good morning, lawyer Martin Pebu.
Yeah, morning, Beatrice. Good.
It's Nashoko.
Oh, okay, Nashoko. Oh,
yes.
Forgive me.
Yeah,
okay,
it's great to have you.
Okay, great. Happy New Year.
I think this is the first time we're talking this year, yes. So a very happy New Year to you, and welcome to the show.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. May this year bring us all that we desire for ourselves.
Amen. Amen. Amen for you and for us all. And when we begin our discussion proper, we will see Lawyer Martin Pebu as he's joining us by video. We are unable to bring you the video now, but he will join us by video and we'll see him live. We're also joined by Dr. Sami Aye, Presidential Aide. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
This is the first time I'm seeing you this year, yes?
For this year, yes.
Happy New Year. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
We are managing. We are good.
You are managing?
You are managing.
Yes.
You are managing.
We are managing. We are good. I mean,
From the
there's a whole lot of...
Let the rest of us say we are managing.
There's
but
a whole
you
lot
cannot
of pressure.
say that.
It's
a lot of pressure.
Work
Yeah.
and all that. So,
but how is the presidency?
Oh, yes, everything is fine. I think the president has put in place all necessary mechanisms to assuage the plight of the Ghanaian people. The very basic things that, complicate their quality of life. I believe that you and I will come to the conclusion that as we speak, things are generally...
Things are getting better.
The people of Ghana are reaping benefits, little benefits from the decision they made on December 7, 2024.
I think that it appears that the general position of the general perception of Ghanaians at this time is that things are getting better.
Well.
But how are things on your side? I mean, while Ghanaians reap the benefits and enjoy, I can imagine the pressure and the hard work that is going into all of this on the side of government.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Are you
just
getting
like
any sleep?
I mean, considerably, it's fine.
Considerably,
it's fine.
All right.
We are all hoping that things will be even, more better.
Okay.
Than
all right.
we
well,
have now.
we continue to pray for you and the government. It's great to have you both. Now, we're going to begin our morning conversation, but I'd like us to just quickly take a bite on the matter of Ken Ofori-Atta appearing before a judge in the U.S. today. Initially, we heard and we understood that it was purely an immigration matter, but now we know that the FBI is involved, and so there are questions about what else there could be beyond his trouble in Ghana and the Attorney General working with the authorities in the USA to ensure that he is brought back home. Austin?
No, personally, I don't think his meeting or his appearance in court has anything to do with the extradition process, which has been initiated. Because I have maintained that it takes a while for that process to yield fruit. If you will notice, it was just recently that our ambassador in
Victor
US,
Smith,
yes, told us that the process for the extradition of Sadina Tamaklo, which was initiated in 2024, had just been activated by reason of her arrest by the U.S. Marshals.
But they couldn't find her, or?
No, I think I'm told she was arrested by the U.S. Marshal.
She has now been arrested.
She is with the U.S. Marshal. No, she's been there all this while, but the process takes a while. The process takes a while, and I've said that the extradition process in the U.S., the regime over there, is not as simplistic as we have it here. Ours is not that thorough. The moment you are dragged before the courts, it has to take a good lawyer to defend you. Otherwise, you just within a split second be whisked away.
Okay.
So I maintain that it has nothing to do with the extradition process, and government communicators must be careful, because I've heard many people say that this has something to do with, particularly even the revocation of his visa has something to do with the extradition process. And I maintain, if you notice, if you have read the U.S. report from their Department of State, you will notice that as of December 31st, 2025, they revoked almost close to over 100,000 visas of immigrants.
Okay.
And Ken happens to be, he happened to be one of them.
Okay.
So it will be tantamount to trying to or attempting to score a cheap political goal if you say that the extradition process, which we initiated,
is the reason he's
had
before
something to
the
do
judge.
with exactly.
Okay.
In fact, the Attorney General created the semblance of, or created the impression of something like that, and I feel it's not good for public communication transparency.
What do you think it is?
I think it has nothing to do with it.
But
it has more to do with the U.S. policy to keep Americans safe. So by reason of that, when they feel that there are issues or issues with your processes, they will revoke it. And Ken is not the only victim. There's been a string of other victims, even high-profile
victims. So his appearance before the judge today, your opinion is purely immigration?
Purely immigration issues.
Okay.
Purely immigration issues.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing how that will pan out, Sammy.
Yes, I think that we have also heard from where we sit in government the efforts of the Attorney General to make sure that Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, just like all other citizens who have faced persecution, will come and answer to questions on his stewardship. Mr. Austin Bracco can disagree, but I have heard the Attorney General. The Attorney General is the lawyer for the government, and he believes that their efforts, they are taking steps to ensure that, Ghana, US meet halfway as far as Ken Ofori-Atta is concerned. I believe that at the end of the day, you say that, it is on record that today they will begin the hearing in the court. We are all here waiting to see how it will pan out.
Yes. Yeah. We wait, and we hope that it will be public so that we can all see and understand. Lawyer Martin Pebu, you may also take a bite on this before we get into the big issues for this morning.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. So what I want to say first is that I'm a bit surprised that Lawyer Bracco can say that essentially the Attorney General is misleading the public. I think Lawyer Bracco, you are a lawyer. The Attorney General is a lawyer as well. So for him to have said clearly that he had been working with the American authorities to get the visa revoked, and then you can say you don't believe so. It appears it's a bit, it just doesn't jive. The Attorney General represents all of us. So by the time you say you don't believe so, you should give us at least some basis. Because he was very clear that he had been working with the US authorities to get the visa revoked, right? Right, so it just didn't happen. And you are saying no. Meanwhile, you are not giving us any basis on which his statement is false. I think that one is, let's look for a way to deal with it. I think we shouldn't just lightly brush aside official statements by public officers. We can't do that. Even in the previous regime where we saw Godfrey Dame saying on tape that he was being asked which hand Atuforsen and Ofori-Atta, Japa. Subsequently, weren't brushing his statements aside like that. Much less Dr. Ayene, who has not been caught in any unethical conduct. Between the two, you, Bracco, look at the date. A year before MPP left power, the Attorney General, Godfrey Dame, had been caught on tape, engaged in very unethical conduct. Yet 1 year, it took about a year and a half before they left office. I never heard you say anything that he had said to be false publicly. So I think you should hasten slowly. You may disagree with the Attorney General, but before you do so, kindly come with your own basis. But it is not a democracy, the public officer that we've given our resources to champion our cause comes to tell us with our resources that this is what he's done. And then a citizen will just come, a lawyer that will just say, it's false. It doesn't, you should have basis.
All right.
Before saying it's false. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so that's what I have to say on this particular matter. And that, listen, I want to repeat the call that the MPP and the Kufuor must prevail upon Ofori-Atta to come down voluntarily. We don't have to wait for any extradition. What is our crime as Ghana or as Ghanaians? That we voted for them to come and administer this country. They got all the privileges, traveled all the best classes, enjoyed all the hotels, all the respect, everything, all the privileges for 8 years. And then, as a sign of payment, what they are doing to us today is to embarrass us internationally. Because now, with everything that's going on, say that our country is not safe for Ofori-Atta to come back, etc. And the whole point that Ofori-Atta is in a foreign jail embarrasses Ghana. It embarrasses Ghana. So if the MPP is really serious about coming back to administer this country someday, they should publicly come out tell Oforiatta to come and also privately send emissaries to go and enforce that and inform us as Ghanaians. The same thing Akufo-Addo must do, because Akufo-Addo is Oforiatta's brother. Look, Nashoko in Chi, okay, there is no word for cousin. In our traditional setup in Chi, your cousin is your brother. So Oforiatta is Akufo-Addo's brother, right? So he has that duty to prevail upon Oforiatta to come and must inform us that this is the effort he's taking. Then another salient point we must make is that I've heard some lawyers mixing up the issues about why Oforiatta has to come. Now, among others, there is a constitutional duty for Oforiatta to attend the trial. Please, Nashoko, let's separate them. I'm talking about attending the trial. That one is a constitutional duty. As for coming to help investigators, like he will confess, he will show them where this and that lies, he is not obliged. But as for the attendance, it's a constitutional duty. In Article 19, Clause 3, it says that the trial of an accused shall take place in his presence. Shall. It's a duty. That is a must. He must be there. Then he gives the exception, unless where he makes it impossible. So like he's being rowdy, that's distracting the court, etc. And then like when he has absconded. So absconding is not a positive, what do you call it, behavior. It's not a positive act of a citizen. That's deviance, right? So reading Article 19, Clause 3, there is a duty that he shall attend, right? Because the state is trying to get into the bottom of it. So he should attend so that it helps to give that sense of a fair trial. Because a fair trial generally would involve that, among others, he should attend and be asked questions. If he doesn't want to answer, then he can say, I'm not answering.
But
so he has a duty.
Martin, we've had other lawyers also say that it's not necessary for him to be present. In fact, we've had many lawyers say that he can be tried in absentia. He doesn't have to be present for this trial to take place. This is something we've heard repeatedly. Is this incorrect?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's incorrect. So let me repeat. You see, what we are saying, there are different strands of obligations we are talking about. The one he doesn't owe an obligation is to tell the state that, oh, yes, I did this wrong. The evidence is here. It is there. Like the way sometimes you hear us say it loosely, he should come and help the state. No, it is the burden of the state to prove him guilty beyond reasonable doubt. That's a standard. Now, I understand. I know you are in training, but maybe I'll repeat for the lay persons. So it's beyond reasonable doubt. Prove the guilt of the accused beyond reasonable doubt. And that is the duty of the state, not the accused. If he wants to make things easy, he can confess, if only he did it. That's not what I've said. I'm talking about the trial. So you see, the Constitution says the trial shall be in the presence of the accused, and we are all citizens. So now the next thing, go to Article 12. You see that it says that, among others, companies in Ghana, organizations, state institutions, and natural persons shall respect. When you are respecting a law, it means obey it. So that Article 12 is part of the fundamental human rights, right? And a fair trial is part, Article 19 is part of the fundamental human rights. So Oforiatta has a duty to obey the law, respect the law, Article 12. Now, Shoko, you can pull it and read, right? So that we can enter to Article 41. That place where you see it, this office, it shall uphold this Constitution, uphold the Constitution. So when the Constitution says that for a criminal trial, right, the accused shall be present, Oforiatta must avail himself. Now, Shoko, let's repeat. We are not saying when he comes, even if he doesn't want to talk, he must talk. No, the trial, so he comes, he's in court. Oforiatta, did you do this? No comment. Or if he likes, you just keep quiet. He has the right not to open his mouth. Yes, but he should come. So the duty in the Constitution is that he should attend he must attend the trial. As to whether he wants to talk, it's a different matter.
So if he doesn't come,
sure
will he be breaking any law?
The American Express. Yes, he's breaking the Constitution. That's the point I'm making. The Constitution says that for a fair trial, one of the provisions for a fair trial is that his trial shall take place in his presence. Maybe we should pull it because of the, I'm not in the office, so I'm using my cell phone, so I cannot at the same time pull out the Constitution. But please, you can let one of maybe Lawyer Bracco will have his Constitution there. If Lawyer Bracco can read Article 19, Clause 3 for us. It says that the trial shall take place in the presence of the accused. That's the rule. To every rule, there's an exception. So the argument I'm making is that the rule is that he shall be present. The exception is that if he comes to court and is making noise, he's being rowdy, etc., and makes it impossible for the trial to continue, then in that case, he will be removed. And when he's removed, that one is contempt of court. They don't just remove you and say, go home. Go. You'll be put in custody, right? Or if he absconds.
But it also gives the opportunity for him, the trial to take place in his absence if he refuses to attend court. And in this...
No.
May I read 19.2 or 19.3? Did you say 19.3?
Yes.
19.3, all right. The trial of a person charged with a criminal offense shall take place in his presence unless, A, he refuses to appear before the court for the trial to be conducted in his presence after he has been duly notified of the trial. So in this situation, he refuses to attend court after he has been duly notified. If, in this situation, if he refuses to attend, which appears to be the case now because he is not coming, and from all indications, he does not want to come for whatever reason. All right.
Yes.
So if 19.3 clause A, 19.3A says it will take place in his presence unless he refuses to attend court for the trial to take place in his presence, isn't that the situation that is prevailing now? And isn't that why other lawyers are asking for the trial to take place in his absence?
Yes.
All right.
The trial will go on if he doesn't want to come. But I'm saying that the provision is saying that it shall take place, so we do it one by one. The rule is that it must take, that's the constitutional, it shall take place in his presence. If he refuses, it's not an opportunity, it's not a right they are giving him. If he refuses, it's deviance. He's deviating from the law. That's how come there are other laws. When he has refused, then we use force to go and bring him.
All right.
So if the refusal to attend was a right that he can exercise freely, and there will be no law on extradition.
All right.
And there will be no law on extradition. So it tells you that at all points we need him. So he must attend. So the people say he doesn't have an obligation to attend. They are dead wrong. Absolutely wrong. They've not read the Constitution where it says he must attend. Article 12 says he must respect the Constitution. And the Constitution says that his trial in Article 19 says it must take place in his presence. And Article 41 says that as a citizen, he must defend and uphold the Constitution. So how do you uphold the Constitution when you are required to come to court and then you are somewhere refusing to come? You are breaching the Constitution. So please, let's repeat. Then also, let's assure him, I have said it, that now, Shoko, I have gone to the Supreme Court on 3 different occasions. So you hear Pebu number 1 versus Attorney General number 1, Pebu number 2 versus Attorney General number 2, Pebu number 4 versus Attorney General number 4. They concern bail. I'm very passionate about bail. I will defend Oforiatta if he comes here and anybody tries to breach his right to apply for bail if it's not sent to court within 48 hours. Because you hear lawyer Kofi Benton says, Oforiatta is scared that when he comes, he will just be locked up and then the key thrown away. No, Oforiatta will be put before court within 48 hours. Nobody will make such an elementary mistake. Even if the papers are not ready, he will be put before the court and then the judge will be told that, oh, we are left with this and this paper. We don't have this document. Then the judge will assess and decide. We want to assure Oforiatta that the fact that we are saying he must be held accountable doesn't mean that we are saying he should be dealt with anyhow. No,
all right.
It will be
all right, Martin.
process. And me, Me,
All right.
I'll be leading the charges to make sure.
All right, Martin Pebu. All right, thank you for your submission on that. I was hoping it to be a short one, but thank you. We appreciate your input. We've been joined also in studio by Dr. Ramsey Inusa, our senior researcher, political researcher with the United Party, Director, Political Research, United Party. Let me put it properly. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Na. Good morning.
Good morning.
To you, and good morning to my brothers on this
Great to
platform.
have you.
Dr. A, it's been a while. I've had the chance to sit with him on the platform. So Happy New Year to him.
Happy New Year,
well.
my brother.
And yeah, it's good. It's good to be here.
Would you like to take a bite on the Oforiatta matter before we get into our conversation for the morning?
Well, what I can say is that nobody is above accountability under the aegis of our Constitution and our laws. Ken Oforiatta was indeed our previous finance minister. He conducted himself in a contumacious manner that caused huge losses to the public purse. I do not know why he's running away from accountability. This was the same person some time ago who joined a demonstration organized by Arise Ghana to ensure that then that previous Mahama One administration was accountable to the people. So what has changed? What has changed? This is absolute hypocrisy on its part. And I think that Ken should do the needful. He should come down. Indeed, I have argued that as some of us have lived in the diaspora for a while, now there's no way you can be detained by an immigration authority when you are seriously ill. They made it look as if Ken was seriously ill that he could not even walk. That was a picture that was painted in the eyes of Ghanaians. But today, that lie by his people.
They said he was seriously ill. We
But
don't know.
But the immigration, the ICE has been able to conduct a medical examination on him, and they said that he's fit to
He's
be
fit
detained.
to stand trial, yeah, and to be detained.
And
right.
so
But it doesn't mean he's not sick at all.
No, but what I'm saying is that what they painted in the eyes.
That's the perception that
the
you
perception
got.
most Ghanaians got, that Ken cannot even write with a pen. And so indeed, he should take lessons from the Bible. And, you know, this is a person who has been reading Bible scriptures anytime he comes to deliver the national budget to Parliament. Indeed, if he's a practicing Christian, he should uphold to the norms and ethics of Christianity. And part of the norms and ethics of Christianity is to stand for truth and ensure that there is accountability and justice.
All right.
And so indeed, if he's a practicing Christian, Ken should adhere to that, and he should come to Ghana and face the justice system.
All right. I want us to go to the matter for today, but I see
Now,
that
quick one.
Braco Powers, you want to respond to what?
No, quick one. I
Martin
think
Pebu
this
said.
is a public TV station or media organization, and a lot of people are watching and some are listening. So it's important sometimes we put matters in their proper perspective. You know, Martin said that if Ken refuses to come to Ghana, he will be breaching the constitution or he will be a deviant. And I don't think it sits within the constitutional framework that we have. In fact, now articulately read the provision, particularly Article 19(3)(a). And I agree with him partly when he said that there's a general rule. The general rule is that in criminal trial, your presence is required. That's a general rule. But in constitutional interpretation, when you look at Article 19(3)(a), it has something we call a proviso. And proviso is a conditional clause that qualifies, limit, or create exception. So the Constitution itself has a proviso which creates an exception to the general rule that your presence is ordinarily or must be required. So when he says when Ken refuses to come, it becomes a breach of the Constitution, by which reason he had to even quote Article 41, which has to do with duties of Ghanaians. I think we are not doing.
So what's the proviso?
The proviso is that the general rule is that your presence is required during
Okay.
criminal trials. But you read it. When you refuse to show up, the court will take it that you have declined to appear before any of the judge, by which reason the court can continue with the matter. So that's a proviso. The exception to the general rule. So it's a conditional clause that even though your presence is required, it is conditional upon you refusing to show up. So if you refuse to show up, that means that if you refuse to show up, the court will then proceed to hear the matter in your absence. So we shouldn't, be creating fog.
So your presence is actually for your benefit.
For your benefit, because
And so
everything must be
if you
done.
refuse to show up, then
means that
you have refused
Exactly.
to enjoy the rights presented to you to be present at your trial.
That is the thing.
All
So
right.
it doesn't amount to a breach of the 1992 Constitution, because the Constitution itself has created the proviso, the conditional clause. If you don't show up, then we'll proceed.
Okay.
So it should not be elevated. So let's not create fog
So
in
what
the
you're
minds of...
saying basically is that Oforiate's absence does not mean that he's breaching the Constitution
all.
or any
He has
law
not breached
by
anything.
being absent at his trial, if the trial should take place in his absence.
No, he has not breached any law, because there is an exception, as you well read, and strictly under Article 19(3)(a). So let's be able to put the message out to Ghanaians properly.
No, I also need a minute. You see, I don't think we should encourage a conversation like this. Imagine security officials or investigative agencies believe that somebody has significant levels of culpability or is a prime suspect in the matter. The person now decides to say that he has decided not to cooperate with security agencies and nothing happens to the person. That's the conversation we want to encourage on this platform. I don't think that is...
That's not the conversation we're having.
That is the
Encourage.
kind of conversation we have. Hold on.
These are constitutional matters.
No.
You are doing politics with the matter.
Hold on.
You are doing politics with the
No,
matter.
Let me make my
that's
point.
not the
When you were
conversation.
talking, I was quiet.
No, you are doing politics with the matter.
No, hold on. Let me make my point. You sat here on this platform and alleged that an attorney general who has so many years of experience in this country has lied to the country without adducing any evidence that indeed the attorney general had not initiated any process in that regard. There's an attorney general that sat on a platform and said that a former attorney general of an American president, George Bush, you denied the attorney general's involvement with the person. You understand the point? And I think that it is very disrespectful.
No, but you should
hold
put
on.
I didn't say he lied.
No, hold on. You said that the attorney general lied to the state.
No,
That is what he said.
I didn't say he lied. I didn't say he lied.
He said that the attorney
I think
general...
you're using different
Some of
words
you
to describe
communicators,
what
you must be careful of the way you are doing politics.
No, hold on.
Did I say he
What
lied?
did you say? You said that. Listen to me. You
If
said
you didn't
that.
listen carefully, then I will repeat
You
it.
said that the attorney general
This type of politics is
miscommunicated to the
needless.
people. What do you mean by the attorney general miscommunicate? When you yourself have not adduced any evidence to that effect, the attorney general
You have not even
was
read
not in
the
any
Department of
conversation.
State report. That's why you are talking the way you are.
Hold
All right.
on. Let me make
You've
my
not read
point.
it.
Let
All
me
right.
make my point.
Sandra, you need to read before you come to such a program. This is a big
No,
idea.
hold on. No,
This is a
it
major
is very
platform.
important. So what is his evidence? The attorney general was not already engaging the US even before the extradition process started. Did he adduce any evidence? No.
Why would they
And you did
arrest
not even question
without-
him. You
without-
understand the
without
point?
details?
No, hold on.
what
But
kind of cheap politics
you
is
are
this?
saying you are on a national platform and you are making an allegation against the attorney general of lying to the state without you producing.
Even what has that got to do with the
All right.
constitutional
You understand?
matters?
So I'm saying that what he said was
Back
not
up, I'll
fair
give
to
the
the attorney
opportunity to
general.
respond to it.
What, first of all, was not fair to the attorney general. He must retract it. Secondly, like I said, we must not encourage a situation where people who are supposed to face accountability give all manner of excuses and hide behind the constitution. Just like Mr. Martin Pebu said. So what's the use of extradition if we can just sit here and say that the person has decided not to come, so trial must continue in absentia? That is the whole point I'm making.
Okay. But your point is premised on your expectation.
Yes.
But then it appears from the constitutional provision we read that it is permissible because of that clause which says that it may take place in his absence if he refuses to attend trial for the trial to take place in his presence. So there is an exception there.
The state also
which-
has all other avenue.
Absolutely.
Just like Mr. Martin Pebu
Absolutely.
intimated that.
Yes.
That is the reason why there's what you call extradition.
Absolutely.
So if the state
So-
believes that
so I believe-
it is important that he comes for the trial, the state can, use
force him to
every other avenue for him to come. And
Yeah.
it is not out of place. That point must be made clearly.
All right. Absolutely. Well, thank you. Dr. Ayer, Bracco Powers, I know you want to respond, but I'm not going to let you do that now.
That's
You
fine.
may do so if we have a bit of time
That
after
is
we're
fine.
done with discussing the matters that we have tabled to discuss this morning.
That is
So
fine.
we'd like to go straight into the Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh's Constitution Review Committee's report, which they presented to the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, on December 22nd. Now, we've gone through a lot of the recommendations that have been made in respect of the term, number of years a term of presidency would last, and so on. But today, we want to turn our attention to the call to delink some private organizations from the Constitution, the organizations which have been mentioned specifically, and that includes the Ghana Bar Association, the GJA, among others, in the various articles listed. So this particular recommendation, if you have the full report, you find it at 9.5, all right? 9.5, clause 9.5. And it says that the committee recommends amendments to the Constitution to remove all direct references to specific private associations in Articles 153, 157, 166, 201, 204, 206, 209, and 259 and 261, replacing them with neutral formulations providing for representatives to be nominated in accordance with procedure prescribed by an Act of Parliament, and further recommends that the Act prescribe the procedure, criteria, and safeguards by which recognized professional bodies, civil society organizations, and other voluntary associations shall nominate representatives to constitutional bodies in a manner that ensures transparency, inclusivity, and institutional continuity. All right. So this is the recommendation that the Constitution Review Committee has presented, and it has sparked a lot of conversation in the last few days, among other reasons because of some of the comments which the ex-president of the Ghana Bar Association has made about his thoughts, especially regarding the Ghana Bar Associations being delinked, so to speak, from the Constitution, and comments about the GBA and other associations being appendages of political parties and the government. Now, first, I'd like us to properly understand this recommendation. And so I'm going to ask you, Bracco Powers, if you could explain it to us. So Martin has to leave us soon, so let's go to him first.
Okay.
All right, Martin Pebu, can you kindly explain this recommendation to us? What does it mean? Martin Pebu, are you with us?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear us? All right, it appears the connection is bad there, so I'll come back to you. Yes, Martin Pebu, can you hear us?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, the volume, let me see. Why is the volume gone down?
Is it all right now? Can you hear me? Okay, while you fix that, we'll continue the conversation in studio and then we'll come back to you.
Yes.
All right.
Now, I think we must, like you well pointed out, we must situate this recommendation within the right perspective. Now, the GBA, that's the Ghana Bar Association, and the Ghana Journalists Association, as well as other private professional bodies, found expression in the 1992 Constitution, because at the time, they were the dominant professional bodies in those fields. There were no other opposing groups. So by reason of that, they had to be actually specifically and directly pronounced or mentioned in the Constitution to be part of certain key councils and bodies. So they've enjoyed some autonomy for well over 30 years. And now we have other competing groups, other professional groups springing up. So particularly when we talk about the Ghana Bar Association, we have the Law Society of Ghana. And I know there are plans to also establish other law societies.
Is the Law Society of Ghana different from the Ghana Law Society?
So actually, they are the same group.
Okay.
Yes, the Law Society of Ghana, I think they are the same group. Sometimes they tend to change the arrangements. Yes, but they are the same group. But I know there are plans to create other law societies. So we could possibly get maybe 4 or 5 law societies in the country, maybe in the coming days. And I know the other groups that are also coming up, regard to that also caters for the sector. That's a journalist association. So that are competing with the Ghana Journalist Association. So there are similar groups like that. So the committee is saying that now that we have these competing groups within the same field, having a direct or directly mention only one of them today will not be feasible, and it will create an impression in the minds of the others that they have been sidelined. So it will be rather appropriate to use a neutral, all-inclusive terminologies, so that these groups will then have to decide on who to appoint. It could be rotational.
You mean the groups or the professions?
So the professional groupings.
Okay.
So particularly in the field of law, the Law Society of Ghana, any other groups, and the Ghana Bar Association will have to decide on who to appoint to represent the field, the legal profession, subject to maybe renewal, or it could be subject to maybe rotation. They could rotate it. So that's what the committee is recommending, because now, because of the competing groups, and remember now, there's a case in court, Israel Tete versus the Attorney General, which included, so Israel Tete, Dafia Makpo, and the Law Society of Ghana versus the Attorney General and the Ghana Bar Association. There's a case before the Supreme Court.
What is the case about?
So they're asking the Supreme Court to construe the provision where where there have been specific and direct mention of the GBA to include the Law Society of Ghana and other.
Is it the case that birthed this recommendation?
And I think that is where the GBA, the ex-GBA boss, former president, wade into the conversation, where he said that it appears that conversations held on the fringes are finding favors within policy directions, or are trying to be used to direct policies. That is where he is coming from. From where I sit, I think this conversation did not start with this matter. It's been a long-running conversation. People have been saying that, and don't forget, the Law Society of Ghana was not established today. It's been listed for some time. So there's been the conversation, ongoing conversation that let's widen the gate. And it was directly because of what people felt was a attempt by the GBA to oppose certain political class, particularly the National Democratic Congress, as against the opposition New Patriotic Party. They feel the GBA, the GBA as it is currently constituted, is more sympathetic towards the MPP than the NDC. So there are plans to make sure that at least there are competing groups so that will have divergent opinion. But now, let it be noted, the more I read the report of the committee, the more I disagree with their some of their recommendations.
Okay.
I mean, they've been, so sometimes you see inconsistencies, particularly with this recommendation. I agree that we must change the direct mention of the GBA. Yes,
you agree?
Yes, I agree. Okay. Honestly, I agree. I think because of don't forget, a constitution is a living organism. Mm-hmm. So at the time GBA and Co had direct mention, it was feasible at that time to do that. But today, it no longer holds currency. Today, because of the different groupings that we have, we need to give them the same voice. So there won't be as though this group has been favored against the other. So I think, on that note, I agree that we must have a neutral, all-inclusive terminology to cater for the other groups in the field. Okay. But on the other hand, I disagree at a point. That's where the inconsistency. For me, this whole constitutional review was anchored on the need to plow back some of the powers of the executive president. If you monitored...
Where did you get that perception from?
So now, if you monitored some of the papers submitted to the committee,
okay,
I've had opportunity to read some of them.
Okay.
Their suggestions and recommendations were to strip the executive president of some of the powers.
Yeah.
And we all agree on this table. I'm not sure anybody is under the illusion that the president is not the most powerful person here per the constitutional framework.
The present constitution.
In fact, there's an imbalance when it comes to the three arms of government, because the president is way, way more powerful than the other arms of government. So the debate has been that let us create a constitutional balance. Let us take part of the government's, the powers of the president, and create a balance so that they all feel and work within the same precinct. But this recommendation, in fact, goes against that latent objective.
Why?
Why? Because when you read particularly paragraph 8 of the recommendation, they are saying that on some of the boards like the Police Service Council, the Prison Service Council, and the Regional Prison Committee, the Regional Police Committee, where the GBA has direct representatives on these councils and committees, the appointment authority should be transferred to the president. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. So we are using the back door to arrogate more powers to the president. And I found that to be very, very inconsistent. Because looking at the thinking, the mind that went into the constitutional review, and even the people who wrote and submitted papers and recommendations, they were hoping that we would see some recommendations that would take some power, certain power from the president. But now you are using the back door to give the president more powers to appoint people where the appointment power had been invested in a professional body. Now I'm saying that to curtail some of these things.
Did you say 0.8?
Yes, it is 0.8.
Yeah, 8.8.
8.89.
8.8.
Okay.
Yes. So now I am saying that in order to resolve this problem, I would rather recommend that we create a national professional bodies regulator. At the moment, it is the Registrar General that does it. And the Registrar General is inundated with, a lot of work. Looking at the complex nature of professional groupings or groups in this country, we will need a national professional bodies regulator, an independent national professional bodies regulator, to cater for, to streamline activities of these groups and even ensure the appointment, particularly when it comes to, if we're able to use neutral and inclusive terminology to replace the GBA, the GJA, and the others in the Constitution, we need an independent professional bodies regulator to help them to select a representative.
I believe the provision is that, or the recommendation is that an act of parliament should provide the criteria and the process of selecting this representative.
Yeah, so we can marry that point with the establishment of a national professional body, so that the act of parliament will now give
a national professional body.
Professional bodies regulator.
Okay.
So there will be like,
for each of these professional bodies.
No, so they will coordinate all the professional groups in the country. All the professional groups, the GJA, the GBA, the tax.
And they will do what exactly for them?
So they will streamline activities of these groupings. And now don't forget, these groups are becoming complex by the day. The activities are becoming complex. And we need a body that will focus on the nuances and help them develop.
Okay. I think we can go back to Martin Pebu now before he leaves us. Martin Pebu, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Awesome. Great to have you. On the matter of the recommendation by the Constitution Review Committee to remove the Ghana Bar Association, GJA, amongst others, from the Constitution, this has been met with some controversy. Questions about autonomy, questions about representation, concerns about fairness, and so on. We heard from the ex-president of the Ghana Bar Association, Yabuafu, who does not particularly agree with this recommendation. Do you agree with it?
No. My point, and I think that's essentially what I heard Lawyer Braku say, is that, look, there's a lot of diversity now, right? Because apart from the Law Society of Ghana now and the GBA, Ward Brew, there's this senior lawyer, Ward Brew. He also had his association, but the membership is very low. I can foresee more associations, that's association of lawyers coming up. So it's the best thing to do so that it will rotate amongst the various associations. So let's say if we have 4 lawyer associations, maybe if GBA sits on some of those committees for, let's say, 4 years, Then the following 4 years, it should go to the Law Society. Then the next 4 years, it will go to another. Let's have a diversity of opinions. And in other words, like we say, variety is a spice of life. GBA has a certain set of opinions. That does not represent, or those do not represent all the shades of opinions in the GBA now. So you see other associations are springing up. And so we should give room for them to also come and contribute. So I firmly support the recommendations to remove the GBA. Rather, let's have a new law that will make it possible for other associations, that's legal associations, to also contribute.
Okay, but have you listened to the ex-presidents of the GBA?
So, no, not the full statement. Okay. I heard snippets of it, that he doesn't agree. And, you know, that's even when he said that HPC Prempeh is not licensed to practice in Ghana, right? That's something that, you know, other lawyers came up and said, oh, is that the only criteria? You know, if Nashoko, you go and qualify in the US as a lawyer, if you come to Ghana, you have to do what they call the post-call. It's been a course, it's been around for decades, for over 40 years, right? So it means that, yes, from what he said, if it is true, it's just that extra course he hasn't done. But it doesn't mean he's not a lawyer. And having lived in the US, I think HPC Prempeh brings diversity. So he's saying Ghanaian law, he's saying US law. So that is not the main point on which we would say that he doesn't qualify to do the work. Let's concentrate on merits of it. Look, me saying this point now, I don't shy away that there are parts of it I've said I disagree with HPC Prempeh, especially when it comes to publication of assets that are declared. I said no, the way he tackled, the committee tackled it in the report is too soft.
Okay.
Ghanaians are yearning that when a public officer declares his assets, there will be a publication online. So there will be a website where the information will be put out there. So that if now, Shoko, you have $2 million in your account and 20 houses, right? If you go and write that, no, your houses are 10. And let's say Dr. Aye knows you and knows that, he's seen you 5 extra houses or the 10 extra houses. Dr. Aye can go and report. All of this will help in the fight against corruption. So it's a game changer. Game changer. So I'm just showing you one example that I disagree with him. But I didn't say based on that he doesn't qualify.
Okay.
No.
Well, Lawyer Boafo and other lawyers who have publicly commented on this recommendation, some of them think that it might be politically motivated. Do you see it that way, or are we over politicizing the matter?
Oh, as for politics, it pervades everything now, even in our churches. The churches we attend, there's a lot of politics in the church, right? And even in our homes. Well, you see, politics comes the moment the resources are not enough and you have to distribute in a certain fashion to achieve equity, right? So it's about resources. The moment you talk about in economics, scarcity of resources, then a sibling in politics, a sibling is politics because the resources are scarce. You need a certain method that will help distribute in a manner that will achieve peace, progress, you know, advancement, etc. So all I'm saying is that yes, you can't divorce politics from the process, but how bad is it? That is what I'm not sure we can stick out our necks and say, because we don't have much information on that. But trust me, as for politics, it's everywhere. The moment you see a human grouping, you always have politics.
All right. Thank you. Let me come to you, Dr. Aye.
Yes.
From where you sit as presidential aide, do you think that this administration or as a country, we should prioritize a recommendation like this?
Yes, there are some parts of it that, I mean, obviously needs to be, you know, looked at. And that's why I'm happy that the president has indicated that an implementation committee will be put in place to look at it. And I agree with some of the suggestions being put across by Lawyer Martin Pebu and my brother, Lawyer Bracco here. But I disagree in some aspects, especially when you look at the recommendations that were made for Article 201, 204, 208, and 209. It talks about the constitution of the Police Council, Regional Police Committee, Prisons Council, and Regional Prisons Committee. You see, these are matters of security. You understand the point? For example, the Police Council, which is chaired by the Vice President. The Vice President reports to the President. The President is the chairman of National Security Council. You understand the point? As far as security of states is concerned, the President must be given the liberty to work with people that he thinks or he believes he has confidence and have the necessary loyalty to the protection of state and what have you. But the current provision we have in our Constitution, 201, 204, 208, and 209, there is a nomination by Ghana Bar Association. In my candid opinion, I believe that the President should be given the liberty to appoint those he believes can work with on a Security Council of that committee. We all know what has happened with the Ghana Bar Association over a period of time.
What is that?
You will all know that many people, and I believe there is no doubt about it, that the Ghana Bar Association, there's like senior members of our party have always communicated. They have tied their apron strings with the MPP, especially their leadership.
Really?
Yes, everybody knows that.
The leadership of the Ghana Bar Association?
Yes, almost for decades, our party have always intimated that it does appear that they have selective amnesia, selective criticism. They drum home almost every position that the MPP canvasses. When it is in the interest of the MPP, they speak. When it's against the NDC, they are quiet. Look at when Charlotte Osei was being removed. Charlotte Osei is a member of the Ghana Bar Association. The Ghana Bar Association did not utter a word. But when it was about the Chief Justice, when the MPP had interest in, the Ghana Bar Association wrote series of memos to the country. You understand the point? Look at the removal of the Chief Justice. You understand? The Ghana Bar Association was everywhere.
What's your point?
Hold on. When about 4 communities were denied representation in this country, the Ghana Bar Association was quiet. There are several cases where the Ghana Bar Association has been quiet on serious matters of this nature. And so, imagine a situation where you have a Ghana Bar Association that clearly does not believe in an ideology of a certain political party. That political party is in government. That Ghana Bar Association is nominating somebody from their entity to work on a matter of security on such a committee. You understand? I think that there is difficulty. However, if in the wisdom of the framers of the Constitution, they believe that some of these security committees should have a legal representation, there are a number of entities in this country that can lend legal representation. The Attorney General's office has an avalanche of legal representation. There are so many, like my lawyer, Bracco rightfully said, legal organizations that are springing up. That can happen. The provision of such a legal representation cannot be, limited to the Ghana Bar Association. You understand the point? So I think that as far as security is concerned, and that's why I'm very concerned about this matter. So when a president and vice president is on a committee, as far as security is concerned, he must have the liberty to select people. This current provision foists membership from the Ghana Bar Association on the committees of this nature. And like I rightfully said, the Ghana Bar Association... I
don't know. But your recommendation is that the president should nominate a representative.
Yeah, and that's why...
So you're not agreeing with the recommendation that the professional body, not the private organization,
so the recommendation
should go through a democratic process to nominate somebody.
So that is part of some of the bodies. But for entities like Ghana Bar Association, the recommendation says that the president should be able to nominate a senior lawyer. It's not the Ghana Bar Association alone that can nominate a senior lawyer at the bar. The president has an avalanche of senior lawyers in this country that he can appoint. You understand?
So we should give the president more appointment powers.
For security matters, I certainly agree with the recommendations of the Constitutional Review Committee. And that is the point I want to put across.
Doc, Dr. Nusa, I'll come back to you.
No. This issue discussed on this table is coupled with politics, governance issues, and indeed some legal issues. But I stand with governance and legal reforms. Indeed, it is quite clear that the Ghana Bar Association over the years has acted in a way in which, vindicates some suspicion or allegations that they are aligned to a certain political party. It is double standard and is hypocritical not to come out to speak on issues of human rights abuse when indeed what Dr. Ayi posited this morning, that a community was denied a fair representation in parliament. We didn't hear anything from the GBA, right? When indeed our press freedom index was the worst in 18 years. When certain political actors posted the image of a certain journalist, and then days or weeks after this person was murdered, we didn't hear anything from the Ghana Bar Association. And so clearly, it suggests that there is something wrong here. And if indeed this body has been stipulated in our constitution and given certain mandates and certain privileges, then it is quite worrying. And so I like the idea that my brother Braco Powers posited, that there should be a National Professional Bodies Regulatory Authority. That is indeed very important. But beyond that, I think that the Council of State under Article 89 has outlived its mandate. It is a lame duck. Were there any recommendations on the Council of State? And it should be scrapped.
Yeah, there were.
The Council of State should be scrapped. And I'm linking this to the Council of State, this point, that the matters of appointments by the executive is something that we have really looked at thoroughly as a party. And we believe that going forward, we need to minimize the powers of the executive to ensure that there is some form of balance when it comes to the various arms of government. And I believe that in place of our current unicameral parliamentary system, Ghana ought to transition into a bicameral parliamentary system.
Before you move on to the parliamentary system, which parts of the executive exactly are you concerned about?
The executive.
Which
the powers of the president to appoint, the recommendation to appoint certain members of the GBA to various commissions and committees. So you disagree with Dr. Ayi? Yes, I definitely disagree with Dr. Ayi.
Okay, let's come to Parliament.
So I'm saying that we currently run a unicameral parliamentary system. In the wisdom of the Great Transformational Plan proposed by the United Party, we believe that Ghana should transform its parliamentary structure into a bicameral parliamentary system and create a second chamber in place of the Council of State. So we should abolish or amend Article 89 and ensure that in place of the Council of State, we have a second chamber.
What would the second chamber do?
This second chamber would appoint heads of various independent constitutional bodies and commissions and committees, including that posited by the Constitutional Review Committee, as suggesting that they have to scrap the membership of the GBA from certain commissions and committees. For example, the Land Commission has a representative from the Ghana Bar Association, right? The Regional Police Security Architecture has a representation from the Ghana Bar Association. We believe that all these sensitive appointments should be done by a second chamber. Now, this second chamber should be made up of non-state actors and non-political actors. This is very important to balance the polarization of partisan politics in our country and to mitigate.
Actors, I understand. Non-political.
Non-political.
Non-political, as the people who have not publicly declared their political position.
Absolutely.
Or people who are not political.
People who are not political or not seen to be political. People? Well, everybody, one way or the other, has his own biases. Mm-hmm. We agree to that. But you should not be seen to be political.
How does that change your position?
What I'm saying is that now, this second chamber,
Or your
when I
concern is
say
about the impression.
not only impression, but I mean the principle of such idea in ensuring that we mitigate the effects of partisan politics, or we create a buffer, because it's been too many as a country. And that is why this second chamber, if you look at the Great Transformational Plan, we think that it should be made up of our faith-based organization, representatives of PWDs, representatives of gender-based organizations, our traditional authorities, trade unions, organized labor, academia, the media, CSOs, which we have termed as the fifth realm of the political, the fifth estate of the political realm. And I believe that all these actors coming together would have what we call a balance when it comes to the demography of professions in Ghana, right? And the demography of power play in Ghana. So you would have the second chamber that would constitute all these different factions and all these different interests that would now be given the mandate to appoint heads of independent constitutional bodies. For example, if you look at the Police Council under Article 201, right? And you know that I have been a very firm person when it comes to our police, because I believe that it is a very sensitive organization and it needs a reset. How did COPONU get an extension by the executive post-retirement, whilst there were other competent commissioners in the Ghana Police Service who could have upheld to that position and contribute to the development of the police? And from what I'm hearing, and I hear a lot of rumors around that, it is a deliberate attempt to retire certain police commissioners so that a certain favored commissioner would get appointed in the next, after his appointment. This is what I'm hearing. But we would need to go deep and investigate. This is what I'm hearing.
So that's a rumor.
It's a rumor. That's what I'm saying, that we need to investigate that rumor.
Just to put it out there, that's just a rumor.
No, but that's what I'm saying, that this is what I'm hearing. Okay. So it's not it's mere conjecture. It's not a fact.
Okay.
But in Ghana, anything can happen. So I believe that in trying to mitigate and relegate the issues of partisan politics or suspicion of partisan politics, these are the credible recommendation we have for the Constitution going forward. And I believe that the position of the UP stands tall.
Does the UP get the opportunity to make some of these recommendations to the Constitution Review
We
Committee?
did that. We submitted our Great Transformational Plan. Okay. We submitted documents to that effect. But I'm surprised and I'm so disappointed that such credible recommendation was not.
Were any of your recommendations adopted?
Some of them were adopted, and I believe that now, look, in going forward, because Ghana has been so polarized with partisan politics, and that's why lawyer Martin Pebu has intimated this morning that even in our churches,
there's politics.
There's politics everywhere.
Right. Okay.
Even bedroom. Politics everywhere.
Even bedroom.
Yes.
All
wow.
right.
Political science will tell you that.
Let's keep the matters
political
of our
science,
bedrooms
political science will tell you. Now, in political science, they tell you that there's politics everywhere.
Why are you running away from that? Why are you running away from?
Let's back to the matter. Back to powers. When Dr. Aye was speaking about the powers of the president, you spoke about the need to limit the powers of the president to attempt, appoint certain people to certain key areas. Now, his point is on institutions of security, which require the president's absolute trust. And so he thinks that this recommendation sits well with the work of the president and the trust he will have with the people he works with.
I think it's so simplistic to put it that way.
Is it?
Yeah, it's simplistic. Because why? Those who drafted the 1990 Constitution, didn't they know that the police service council and the prison service council have something to do with national security? They did. But in their mind, they thought that this would be a perfect opportunity to have somebody with the legal background in the midst of these committee members or council members to help them. Don't forget, matters of security also borders on matters of, in fact, they borders on legal issues. But now let me say this: the GBA, as has been put out there, has not fared that bad. or
Has not fared
that badly.
Okay.
Has not fared that badly.
They
And
say that they do the bidding of the NPP. Is that
so
correct?
the question is that the case? Is
Well,
a GBA?
He
Is a
put
GBA?
out an example.
Yes.
That suggests his point.
Now,
The example of the EC boss versus the
Sal,
Chief
the matter of
Justice.
Sal.
Sal and their
Appointment of
absence
Justice Kwame to
from
Supreme Court
Parliament,
and what-
a representative
a
from
whole lot.
Parliament, and other things.
Now,
Mere coincidence.
Doc is not the only. Is not the first person to be talking about the charlatans. Don't forget when the Attorney General had the opportunity to address the GBA conference in WA, he put out some of these things.
Is this a mere coincidence?
Now, why do we select a string of incidents to justify and conclude that the GBA has been selective or has been defending the new opposition New Patriotic Party? I don't think the GBA, as it is currently constituted, is the voice of the NPP.
The GBA has actually had an NDC.
They've had a string of
precedent.
Exactly, they've had different leaders.
Publicly, Neo-Sai. Well, I don't really.
Side. So no, so
NDC person.
Was it not?
no,
You are saying
now they've had
Well,
the
correct me
GBA.
if
Now
I'm
the
wrong.
GBA has had
Yes.
people who have been sympathetic towards the NDC, and we must put them matters in their proper. Do you understand? I won't mention their names but I know that they are sympathetic towards the NPP. So it will be too, it will be.
All right. I'm told our time is up, and we have to end this conversation.
Now, I think that I have to say this morning. I am a constituent of the Ayahuasca West constituency. And this morning, I must acknowledge certain strides made against the fight against crime in our Ayahuasca West constituency. DSP Georgina Sabi and her crime officer, ASP Vivian Osei Owusu Amposa, who are the two leading figures in the Kotobabi District Police Station, have been able to foil certain robbery attacks in the constituency.
Foil?
Yes.
Or foil?
Foil. Sorry.
Okay.
Foil certain robbery attacks in the Ayahuasca West constituency.
Okay.
And indeed, today as I speak to you, one of the most wanted and dangerous criminals has been apprehended.
Oh.
And thanks to this credible leadership, and they are all women. So indeed, there's hope when it comes to women leadership in the police service. And we must commend them.
I'm happy to hear you commend the Ghana Police Service.
Most of the work is done by the district and then the divisional police officers. But unfortunately, they do not have the privilege of hiring bloggers to follow them to showcase their jobs. But they have me. So I've commended them this morning. Yeah. And we need to support such credible officers.
I'm happy to hear you comment the Ghana Police Service.
Oh, I have no beef with that.
Because of your many submissions over the last few weeks about the Ghana Police Service.
I still maintain my position that for security appointments,
the president
should have the opportunity to appoint people he thinks he believes in, and people whose loyalty to him are certainly
to
not
him
in
or
doubt.
to the country.
To him, he represents the country. To him, he's the chairman of the National Security Council. There's nothing wrong, absolutely not wrong with it. You cannot go and sit on a security committee. Security decisions are making. Such decisions have implications for the national security of states. And the provision of legal background or legal information cannot only be limited to Ghana Bar Association. Just like lawyer Branko Powers rightfully said, there are a lot of sprouting, legal unions and legal entities coming. When they were writing the constitution, they didn't know that in many years to come, there will be more legal entities apart from Ghana Bar. But they put it there. But that's why we've done the recommendations. And the recommendation says that the president should have the opportunity to appoint and remove GBA. Appoint a senior lawyer onto such security committees or security entities. And I completely agree with that because over the years, we do not think that the leadership of Ghana Bar Association have been patriotic to this country. In fact, almost every independent person makes the point that the Ghana Bar Association I mean, they are certainly not patriotic. Their sword is
No,
not
you
double
can't.
edged.
You can't say that.
It's true.
You can't say that.
I can say it from what? No. From what I have said.
Almost every person.
No. I'm saying that any objective person that comments on the conduct of the Ghana Bar Association knows that the leadership of the Ghana Bar have not been honestly.
You have an
Yes.
NDC Lawyers Association, right?
Yes.
Many of whom are members of the Ghana Bar Association.
In fact,
Are they
the
not?
NDC lawyers themselves have said that there is a case in court.
But they are members of the Ghana Bar Association, are they not?
So I'm saying that the point I'm making is that the leadership, they are the ones that recommend
All right.
people onto
Thank you,
security
Dr.
boards. So if they think that,
Thank you, Dr.
You understand
But
the
the
point?
leadership is from within them.
I'm saying that they are members of the Ghana Bar Association. They have been forced to be members of it.
Who forced them?
Oh, by lawyer Braku knows.
Is this compulsory to be a member of the Ghana
If you're
Bar
a lawyer, you have to be a member
I
of the
think,
bar.
I think in the beginning,
Yes.
but you can decide.
Yes.
You can decide to opt out later.
But if you're a lawyer in Ghana, you have to be part of Ghana Bar.
Because of the structure.
So even if
No,
you
I
are a
need
member,
to answer yes or
so
no.
even
Just
if,
answer
so
yes
hold
or
on
no.
now.
Is it
Even if you are a
compulsory?
member and you do not even believe in what your leadership is doing, you are forced to still do
Now,
it.
I think
You understand? That's the
structurally,
point.
structurally, it's because of the setup. But it need not be the case.
So is it
So you
currently
agree with me?
compulsory?
So currently, when you are called to the bar, it is the GBA that does most of the activities. So you automatically
So
become
what
a
I'm
member of
saying
the
is
GBA.
true.
Okay, so it's compulsory.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So what I'm saying is true.
Okay. All right. All right, Doc Aye, thank you so much, Presidential Aide. Thank you, Dr. Inusa, Director, Political Research, United Party, Lawyer Braco Powers. Thank you so much, Private Legal Practitioner, and also Lawyer Martin Pebu.